All eyes are now set on the Israel-Gaza peace talks. Negotiations in Cairo between Hamas, Israel and the United States aim to finalize a U.S. proposed ceasefire deal, but the process faces major obstacles as Israeli attacks continue despite calls for a halt in violence. President Donald Trump has warned that Hamas will face quote-unquote complete obliteration if it refuses to cede control of Gaza. He confirmed that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is on board to end the bombing even as hardline coalition members continue to push for military action. Meanwhile, Israel has not extended the initial ceasefire after Hamas rejected a proposal to release additional hostages. Hostilities resumed following Hamas's refusal to agree to the U.S. ceasefire extension plan. An Israeli government spokesperson said there is no formal ceasefire, only temporary pauses in some attacks. Negotiators are all set to leave for Cairo tonight to begin the technical stage of the talks, with Israel prioritizing the return of all 48 hostages.
This development comes with talks that will be taking place in Egypt as the Prime Minister instructed the team, led by Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer, to finalize the technical details of the release of the hostages, a priority and first step of this deal. Now, the team will be leaving tonight with plans for talks to begin tomorrow. And I want to reiterate, these are technical talks. Israel's government has agreed to the first phase of this deal, which is the release of all 48 hostages at once. As President Trump confirmed, it has been agreed to. Hamas, the terror organization, will need to release our hostages. Israel's team of negotiators will be meeting in Egypt to iron out these very specific details on the first phase right now. While certain bombings have actually stopped inside of the Gaza Strip, there's no ceasefire in place at this point in time, although there has been this temporary halt in certain bombings. The Prime Minister has given orders actually for defense to fire back for defensive purposes, of course, if there is a threat to their life in the battlefield in Gaza.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned that the war in Gaza is far from over, calling the release of hostages the first phase of a broader plan. He stressed that nothing is guaranteed, describing the success of the talks as a 50-50 chance.
This is the closest we've come to getting all of the hostages released, every single one, all 48, including the 28 who are deceased, of course, the 20 that are still alive. But, there's a lot of pitfalls along the way. There's some work to be done here. We understand that we have to get the teams like the Red Cross or whoever it is that's going to be that goes in and gets it. All of these things have to be worked out, and that shouldn't take that long. All those talks are occurring even as I speak to you now. We're hoping it'll be finalized very quickly, early this week. And I'm hoping, again, who knows the timeline, but this cannot take weeks or even multiple days. We want to see this happen very fast. If it doesn't, then I think the entire deal becomes imperiled. So this has to happen quickly for the sake of the hostages, the families, and this deal.
On the ground, the situation still remains dire. Israeli airstrikes and tank attacks killed at least 16 people on Sunday, while Gazans continue to desperately seek an end to the bombing amid a worsening humanitarian crisis. The conflict remains tense and fragile, with hostage releases, military withdrawals and diplomatic negotiations all critical to determining whether Gaza sees a lasting end to this violence.
We've seen, as expected, Hamas didn't say yes to the Trump proposal. They said yes, but. And the buts are very big. One of the main issues that was supposed to happen is the Hamas laying down its weapons and not being part of the new leadership of the Gaza Strip. That is the best thing for the Gazans and for the region. But Hamas has already said they refuse to that. They also claim they don't know where some of the hostages are. They want Israel to withdraw more than Trump said they will. So there are a lot of details still to be ironed out, but a lot of pressure on Hamas. And we actually see a quite unprecedented coalition of Arab countries coming out with a statement, very strong statement, supporting the deal. And I think that this is one of the reasons that Hamas really understands that it's been cornered. We also see very harsh rhetoric coming from Trump and from Rubio saying that if Hamas refuses, they're going to give Israel a green light to go ahead, and very harsh statements there. So I really think that we are going to see Hamas very flexible We just have to see how flexible they are, and also if there aren't any tears between what is called Hamas, the out Hamas, and the in Hamas, the leadership in Qatar, which is receiving a lot of pressure, and the leadership inside the Gaza Strip, who is the one holding the hostages, who's maybe more feeling in a mood of martyrdom, and therefore may not cooperate fully. That said, we've heard also from other Palestinian fractions that are holding some of the hostages that they have agreed to the deal in essence, especially since for them, Hamas being dismantled is actually good for them, because that means that their organization can become stronger. So we have to wait and see what happens in Cairo in the next couple of days.